what an incredible honor just to even be considered, let alone to be selected for this award. You know, I've been doing this work since 1978, and you know, you just go through day in and day out, and you just try to do what you can to make things better for the environment. I mean, that's just my passion. I've had it since I was probably in high school, certainly in college. And you don't really think about it. You don't think about you know, the addition or the multiplication of all the work you do over the years. And I've had the privilege of working in 3 different states. It's just an amazing. It was just a total jaw-dropping surprise. I had no idea it was coming, and I'm so humbled by it, because I don't think of the work that I've done as being anything other than just trying to do right by the environment. And the environment doesn't have a voice. It relies on people like us to have a voice for it. Again, as an ecologist, you learn that the world is very complex, and when you push in one spot, you know, it's like the laws of physics. There's an equal and opposite reaction, and so that's what got me interested in trying to assert and insert myself into the conversation, to help people understand that we have to stop thinking in a linear fashion when it comes to the environment and managing the environment and protecting the environment. And Iowa doesn't do a very good job of acknowledging its water resources and their importance, even though they are so critically important to our economy. And yet we treat it as we take it for granted. Like, that's the contrast that I've seen between, say, Minnesota and Iowa. We take our water resources for granted. Minnesota has a deep respect for its water resources. As bad as it's gotten, and as bad as it continues to get, it apparently hasn't gotten bad enough to cause the legislature to do anything serious. There's lots of greenwashing going on. There's lots of, you know, hope and promise, and you know, words of assurance. Just give us time. All we need is more time and more money, and these voluntary approaches will solve everything. I'm sorry, that argument has been posed and laid out for decades. We're not getting any better. It's getting worse. You know, and so if we want to improve water quality here in the state, this legislature needs to step up and stop pretending that voluntary compliance is going to work. It isn't. It will work for that 10% of early adopters and innovators out there, but no one else is going to do it until we're forced to do it. And the hill we have to climb is getting steeper and steeper because of climate change, because of changes in land use. You know, this increased concentration of animal feeding operations, and this increased intensification of non-diversified landscape. My take over the last 50 years of the environmental movement is most of the progress that we've made, the significant, dramatic progress that we've made, has been a result, obviously, of major federal policy, Clean Water Act, Clean Air Act, Endangered Species Act. And then, more importantly, I think, was the environmental community willing to have the courage to step up and go to court to ensure that we hold people accountable for their actions. And I think that's something that the greater environmental community here in Iowa needs to find a way to get more engaged in that. And so let's start rebalancing our priorities in the state. And it's going to take the environmental community, because again, average Joe Iowan thinks that there's institutions in place to protect their environment, and so they don't have to worry about it. That's something I've always reminded all of my staff in all 3 states that I've ever worked in. They count on us to protect their environment for them. That's why they created us. That's why they created those institutions, so they wouldn't have to worry about it, because they were worried about getting the kids to school, getting the job done, putting food on the table, balancing their checkbooks every month. And so the Iowa environmental community needs to get well armed, figuratively, and do battle and be willing to take some blows, but they also have to give some blows. If we're serious about trying to make Iowa a state where people want to live and recreate and enjoy the outdoors,